Welcome back, friends. The last lecture, we discussed about the advantages of database management system and the actors and workers who are all present in the database management system. In this lecture, we will discuss about what is a database model. So actually, a database model is defined to specify how a database is structured and used. The database model is a conceptual tool that determines the manner in which data is stored, organized, and manipulated in a database system. The database model involves creating a blueprint for a database of a software application using relevant standards and techniques. Generally, the initial stage of the database will look like the database structure, what it is present in the right bottom of the slide. So the next thing is types of data model. There are two major types of data model are present. One is record based logical model. The next thing is object based logical model. The record based logical model is further classified into hierarchical data model, network data model, and relational data model. The object based logical model is classified into entity relationship model. So when we are speaking about hierarchical data model, so you can see here a database management system will create a data model in the form of hierarchy. So it will have the database in the form of the manager, then the clerical employees, then the labor employees. Like that, it will create a data model for an organization. If you want to create a network data model, how we can structure a network data model is, for example, if a company has many branches and the branches are located in different geographical locations means, so each geographical location, one data model will be created. Data model in the sense that database will be created. So those databases will be connected in the network and to maintain a centralized data. The next thing is relational data model. That is very, very important. That is what we are going to discuss in this subject fully. So relational data model means the database will be created in a form of tables. So the tables will constitute rows and columns. The columns header will be the attributes of that particular database, and the values are represented with the help of the rows. The next thing is object-based logical model. It is purely entity relationship model. So you can see here in the table structure what it is mentioned as a figure here. So these are called as a relationship data model. So in the first table, it mentions about the customer ID, loan number, and amount in dollars. This entire relation will be mentioned as the customer loan records from customer loan table. Okay, it speaks about the customer loan records. The name of the relationship is the customer loan. So the number of records, that rows are tuples. The rows are represented as tuples. So they will be mentioning the cardinality of the relation. Cardinality of the relation in sense. So what will be the capacity of each rows? So how much values are present in each rows? That will describes about the cardinality of the relation. In the second table, you can see the customer details table. It will be having the entire structure of customer ID, customer last name, customer middle name, customer first name, account number, account type, bank branch, and customer email. So this is how a relational data model will be seems to be. When we are speaking about entity relational model, so entity relational model will be having different type of structures. It specifies many shapes in order to recognize the entity of the components what we are going to use in a database. So the entity relationship model will be taught in the future lectures. Now we are going to discuss about the relational data model. So these are some of the basics of relational data model. So you can see the table here. So this table is a student table. The name of the table is the student table. The relationship can be either mentioned as relations or table. So a data is viewed as existing in two-dimensional tables, that is known as relations. A relation or a table consists of unique attributes that is specified by columns and the tuples, the values that is specified by the rows. Sometimes the value to be inserted in a particular cell may be unknown or it may have no value. This is represented by null. So in this table, you can see here the office phone for Benjamin Bear and Chung Cha Kim and Barbara Benson is not mentioned here. So it is represented as a null value. Generally speaking, a relational database is a database whose logical organization is based on relational data model. The RDBMS manages the relational database. By simply speaking, a relational database is nothing but it speaks about the relationship between the tables for the entire database. So we will take a university example database. So university example database is the root. So under university database, we can have student table, employee table, then department table. Like that, we can create a number of tables under the university database. Now we are going to identify the relationship between the student table, employee table, and department table. If these relationships are identified among these three tables means for the university database, then it is called as a relational database management system. So you see here one of the example. So the name of the table is student here. So all the columns will be having one heading. That heading is mentioned as attributes. It specifies the header of the column in a relation. The rows will be having many values. So those values, each row in a relation is mentioned as a tuple. The entire row is mentioned as a tuple. The individual value, a set of atomic values of an attribute. For example, you can see the last column, it is mentioned the GPA. The GPA contains the data as 3.8, 4.1 and 4.2. So these values are related to GPA. So it is an atomic set of values. It will specific for GPA alone. That's why it is called as domain. So I hope that you all have understood the relational model basics and what are all the types of data model available in the database management system. In the next lecture, we will discuss more briefly about relational database model. Thank you.